In my last 2-box nickel hunt, we hunted a couple of Amarillo National Bank nickel boxes, and they were dandies. I told you in that video I had another box just like it, and I was gonna hunt that one today. But I got a couple of Loomis wrapped boxes here, and when I popped the top of this first box, I noticed we had a fancy ender. So I figured it's time to go and hunt these boxes to see if they're as good as the ones from Amarillo. Hey everyone, it's RobFindsTreasure. Welcome back to the channel. I have a couple of Loomis wrapped nickel boxes that I'm excited about, mainly because you already saw we had a Buffalo Ender in the intro. Doesn't mean there's much in either of them, but it's always nice seeing that. And the last time I had a Buffalo Ender, we had a nice Buffalo box. That being said, this is going to be episode number 131 of the entire playlist, and it's boxes 125 and 126 for the Series 2 book. Now, you know we're just missing the 50D. We're trying to find that before the 167th box, because that's how long it took us to complete the Series 1 book, and we're still stuck trying to find the same nickel we were stuck on forever for the Series 1, the 1950D. Obviously, I've been looking for any nickels for the Side Finds book. We're missing 5 tough dates, but for now, I'm too excited. We're going to slide those out of the way and get right to the hunt. Obviously, I have 100 circulated nickel rolls here, and somewhere, I guess that's, what is that, roll 18 of this box? Looks like we have a 1937 Buffalo Nickel Ender, and I'm hoping he's got some friends in the box. You guys know the drill. We're going to get right to the hunt. We're looking for Buffalo nickels, Silver War nickels, better date nickels, proof nickels, varieties, foreigns, you name it, but most importantly, even more so than a bunch of Buffaloes, the 1950 Denver. I'll be back if and when we have our first find from the Buffalo box number 1. We're on roll number 11, and our first 40s Jefferson find is going to be a 1941 San Francisco. I'll point out that we also grabbed slightly lower mintage 1952 Denver in the box, an 09D, which is lower mint, and some really nice looking older Jeffersons, although we'll just compare them to the books. Let's get back to the hunt, see if we can get on a Buffalo before the Buffalo. We're on roll number 18, and roll 18 has that 1937 Buffalo Nickel Ender. A little bit of ring of death on it because it's an end coin, but let's confirm its year and see what mint it is, and more importantly, is it the start of some friends? That Buffalo Ender is indeed a 1937, and it's Philadelphia minted, and all the legs are there. So if it had been a Denver, we'd have checked for the legs, but definitely still a pretty nice 1937 Philly. Full date, decent detail, a little bit of corrosion, and like I said, the ring of death. Either way, I've been finding Buffalo nickels lately, and it's nice to see one in a Loomis box. Now let's get back to the hunt. Roll number 19, a nickel from the 40s, 1947 Denver. Well, if there's ever been a case of don't judge a book by its cover, this box has been it. Other than that Buffalo Ender and a few early finds, it's been pretty cold. We're on roll number 42 of the hunt now, and finally, another nickel from the 40s. 1949 Denver, and since it is a Denver, we'll just quickly check it for that D over S, which I don't see. Only the third nickel from the 40s, along with 3 nickels from the 50s so far. 8 rolls left. Roll number 43, another 1941 Jefferson nickel from Philly. Roll number 46 will give us a 1946 Philly as well. Well, we finished that first Loomis nickel box, and I'll tell you, that Buffalo Ender gave us a lot of hopes, but really, it didn't pan out for this box. Pretty nice find, nice seeing it as an Ender, but nothing really else to speak of other than the 52 Denver in terrible shape. We did find some nice nickels from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We'll compare to the albums. We got the 09D, and of course, we did find a Canadian nickel as well, but that's it. Luckily, that's why I hunt 2 boxes during most videos, because in case you get kind of a dud box, although we didn't get completely skunked, we have a chance at another one. Box 2 coming up. No fancy enders. Maybe that's a good sign. Let's see what we find in these next 50 rolls. I'll be back with my first find of box number 2 of the hunt. Roll number 2 of box number 2 is going to give us what we thought we'd get more of in box number 1. Another Buffalo nickel. Only the second roll into the box. Looks pretty slick, but it does have a date, 1920. And that's going to be a 1920 Philadelphia, I'm almost certain of. Yeah, no mint mark. And definitely a 1920. We found a few of those lately. It's nice to see another one that's not nickel dated like the last few. And our second Buffalo nickel of the hunt. No enders on this side. More Buffaloes inside. Let's find out. Roll 14 of box 2. A nickel from 1941 yet again. This time from Denver. Roll number 79 of the 100 roll hunt's going to give us our oldest Jefferson nickel we have found yet. And it looks pretty good. It's a 1939 Jefferson nickel with a little bit of luster and good detail left. This might be a key date. If it is, it'd have a D or an S mint mark on the reverse. 1939. And it's just a Philadelphia. Man, it's in decent shape too. Let's go ahead and double check the mint mark area. Yeah, it's just a Philly. Is it the DDR? It is not the double die reverse. And I'm just checking for that Henning notch. It does have a little bit of the machine doubling at pluribus, but there's also some gunk in the devices, so it could just be a play on light. Either way, I'm going to scope it and weigh it. Just double check everything. Still a nice 1939 Philly, could be an upgrader. Now back to the hunt. Roll number 86 is going to have a couple of finds. In front, we have a pretty decent 1947. And that's a San Francisco, so a slightly lower mintage on that one. And I can see it back here. It's peeking out. I thought it was a 43 at first, but it's definitely not a 43. It's a 1948 Philadelphia. Roll number 94 is going to have the world's worst 1940 nickel. Not sure I've seen one worse than that. Looks like it was caught in a fire or something, but 1940 Philadelphia. And believe it or not, it's our first from 1940. Well, we finished that second box of nickels, and you know what? Both of these boxes were pretty tough boxes on total finds. We had 12 total finds on the first box, 16 on the second, a total of 28 on the board. And even though we got a Buffalo nickel early in both boxes, they just didn't produce as many finds as I thought they would. Kind of a bummer there, but one would argue anytime you get a Buffalo nickel in a nickel box that you hunt, it's still a decent box, and at least we had fun with the anticipation of finding something nice. You guys have seen all of the common date Jefferson Nickels, and they're not in the greatest shape, but you know what? We'll compare them to the book regardless. We did find some pretty nice Jefferson Nickels here. There's a nice 65, a pretty nice 1967. We got a nice 1970S, not a proof Jefferson nickel, and a couple of really nice 1980s. Normally I don't hold on to, but they are in great shape and they have decent steps, an 86D and a 1989D. We got a low mintage 2090, a Canadian nickel from 1999, does have a scratch on it. A 1939 nickel, it's a common date, but it's in decent shape, so we'll compare it to the book. And then a lower mintage 1947 San Francisco, not in the best shape, but we still want to take a peek at it. The two finds of both boxes is a Buffalo in each. We got a 1920 Philly in the second box, and then we got an ender, a 1937 Philadelphia in the first box. I don't think we're going to have any additions, of course. Maybe an upgrade, we'll have to see, but I'll let you guys know that here in a second. Let me compare the finds to both books, and I'll bring you back with a look at the books and some final thoughts on the hunt. All right, we have compared the finds to both books, and surprisingly, we actually had an upgrade in each. For the Series 2 book, we were able to upgrade one of those modern nickels, the 86D. We plugged it in right there. It's going to be hard to see because of the shadowing, but it's definitely a nicer nickel. And even though it's a modern upgrade, it's good to have an upgrade in the Series 2 book because that's been tough to do lately. As far as the Series 3 Side Finds album, we had one upgrade, and it is a slightly lower mintage, that 1947S. It's not in the best shape, but it's definitely an upgrade from what we had in there, so we'll take it. So now, after 126 boxes searched for the Series 2 album, we're still missing that 50D. 135 of the 136 nickels have been found. For the Series 3 Side Finds album, 61 total boxes searched now. Still missing those 5 tough date nickels, and it's been a long time since we found a nickel to put in this book, and that's starting to get concerning as well. Nice getting a couple upgrades, but without any additions and still no 50D, the hunt continues. I know we didn't have any additions, and I know the finds were light, but hopefully despite that, you guys still found this 2-box nickel hunt enjoyable, and if you did, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, and thanks for watching.